Hi there. It's been a while since I think it's been probably more than a week, not 2 weeks. But yeah, it feels a long time ago, but I think I did one last week, but could be 8, 9, 10 days ago. Anyway, yeah, I think I say this sometimes, but I say it again. A lot of things has happened since last time. But that's might seem as an what's it called, over exaggeration, but from my perspective, a lot of things are happening in my brain, I think, and you could think about why does that happen, and I would say again that it is maybe due to this product I use, nootropic, called Qualia. Still not sure if it's worth it or not. I'm just really going back and forth on that. Both on because it's in order to evaluate, you have to know the value of it and the cost of it, and both those are. Oh well, okay, the cost is fixed, but the value is really hard to, and also because it's a considerable cost, and that cost is really large if you think about it in the long term, like capital. But on the other hand, if the implications for or the effects on my brain is huge in the long term, then it's really, yeah. Anyway, what I've been thinking about a lot is I've structured things somewhat differently. I think I talked about last week that I try to change my routines somewhat in when I go to bed and so forth, and I'm still going back and forth on that. I'm not sure, but anyway, so sleep is one thing. What I am right now somewhat confused about is how to handle pleasurable things, and how to think about it. How much should I try to optimize for feeling good, or at least optimize for not feeling bad, at least. And so I've been just recapitulating what happens last sort of 3 days. I think last 2 days was, but yeah, last 3 days. I've been quite focused on, I've been listening to Charlie Munger quite a lot, videos and so forth, and he's about creating a wisdom checklist, because you have to have a checklist for anything really, if you really are going to remember it, and then of course you have to use it. And so I created that, but also on these academic models and so forth. I've still keeping up with doing academic models every day, and it's going quite well, repeating them and so forth. So it's 36 chapters, and I'm on today I did chapter 10, so it's and I do one a day, and it's about 20, it's shorter in the 20 pages, but the later ones are longer. Sometimes some of them about 30 pages even, but it's short chapters. So that's why I can do one a day, and I also repeat them afterwards, and I have sort of read them. I think it's an English word, iterative reading. I've not speed read, but glimpsed on the chapters, like trying to think about them short, because in the long run it amplifies and you learn better. It's one of the tips from a book I have about learning, and yeah. But anyway, so I'm really trying to, and by the way, yeah, there's a lot of things I'm thinking about here that goes into each other, but I, for example, get up earlier today and yesterday, just because I felt that, I think I was somewhat influenced by Charles Munger when he said about a admirable academic who, or medical bone tumor treatment, who took a year sabbatical and worked 17 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year, and that was his sabbatical. I'm writing this textbook about medical tumor, no, bone tumor, I think. And so I think about, and I think that sort of prompted me to, be somewhat more stoic. Although I know, or I suspect that a lot of sleep is really important. I know that, and so it's somewhat. But I did woke up, and that's when I never set an alarm or something like that. So in some sense, I don't know. So, but I can feel the effects of it, getting up earlier. But especially, well, today I'm not on the nootropics, so today the effects are not as, like, you could think that the nootropic would compensate for it, but it's sort of, as I mentioned, sort of designed in a way, I guess, that it even makes being tired even worse, sort of. So today I really don't feel the effects, I guess, of not sleeping, but I still sleep good. So I get up earlier, about 8:30, I think, 8. Usually get up at 9, 9:30 or something. And I actually think I get up at 8, and yesterday 8:30. And so, and just things just went so smooth, so that I just some things that I'm sometimes finished with at let's say at well, if it's worse, it's at 3 p.m. But today I think I was finished at midday, 12, I think. And so, but I of course have other things after that. So and when those was finished, like for example today, or at this time, I usually am studying still academic models and so forth. But I had already done that, and I had repeated some other stuff that was in addition to what I usually do, and I also have read iteratively lots of chapters. I spent an hour on that, just glimpsing coming chapters, sort of 5-6 chapters. So yeah, it feels really good in that sense but I'm not sure why it went so fast. I think one thing is that I am fasting today, so I don't eat any breakfast, and which I did take a cup of coffee and read it at the same time, so I don't think I saved so much time. But I did not eat lunch, of course, and I've actually taken a shower, which I usually don't do in the early hours. But I have it done, but that was later on, after at 2 o'clock maybe. But anyway, so it's still strange why it went so fast. And I think, well, I guess I'm comparing to the worst days when I'm finished at 15. But I think a really good day is finished at 13, or sorry, 15 in Swedish we use, so it's at 3. If it's a worse day, it's at 3 I'm finished before I can start really studying. And today a really good days when I finished at 13, and today I was finished at, or 1, and today I think I was finished at 12. I'm not sure how that happened, but I guess I did wake up 1 hour earlier than is sort of my average, even somewhat more than the 1 hour, and yeah. It feels good in some sense, really. But I also think that I will be somewhat more sleepy today, so that's probably how it will affect. But anyway, I'm sort of stuck on that because I try to navigate my day, and I always try to and this is the sort of ugly part of how I oftentimes behave, is that since I started earlier today and I was finished sort of with what I usually do at an earlier point, I felt as if, and probably from Munger influence, sort of being stoic and plug along, just continue working and so forth. I felt as if, if I have, then it's an even longer time until say 6 o'clock, which is if I usually plan to stop at 6 o'clock, but I sometimes quit it earlier than that because wait a minute.